Hi guys, and welcome back to Pass the Move. And for today's episode, in our England Empire series, we've got still the World Cup qualifying section going on, European one of course, and we've got the two games that we promised for you basically, so Lithuania and Malta. And as you can see here, Malta are playing Slovenia and Slovakia are playing Scotland, so hopefully these two either draw or whatever. Well, I need basically Slovakia to lose one and to draw one out of the two that we're playing this time. Hopefully that means I would have qualified. If not, then the next episode should be when we qualify, but of course it'll make for a nervous ending when we do have to face off against Slovakia again at home and Scotland both at home. But we did manage to beat both of them, so hopefully that should amount to something, I suppose. But anyways, this is the tactics we're going with. It's still the same tactics that we've mentioned in our previous episodes. This is the team we're going with. We'll get into that in just a second, but let's show you who we called up and who missed out on their international caps. So in goalkeeping department is kind of straightforward. Butland, Forster and Hart, they were the top three in ability and they are playing the games. I mean, it's still early in the season, of course, September. The second season in charge in the Premier League has only been played 4 games, so it's not too tough to get a call up right now. If you've played 2 games of the Premier League, that's half of the 4 that have been played. If you started 2 of them, if you've played well, you get a call up basically, and that's why Hart, Forster and Butland have all been selected. In terms of the defenders, left back is kind of straightforward with Luke Shaw and Cresswell still managing to hold on to his spot. Baines just hasn't really played at all, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And the likes of Gibbs, Rose, Bertrand, all of them haven't done as well as Cresswell has. So it's been an interesting second season to see. Some players have already gotten some transfers, such as Michael Keane, who's moved to Arsenal. That's actually harmed his call-up. Besides just his injury, he would have been called up just because of his lack of game time and whatnot. But anyways, in terms of the right-back spot, Klein and Joe Ward get the nod. Joe Ward has been one of the best right-backs so far this season. Of course, it's still very early, but he has played 4. He's made all the 4 starts that were possible. He's got 2 assists from right back and he's 7.32 ratings, so why not call him up at the age of 27, possibly for his first international call up. In terms of the centre backs, Smalling, Smalling, Shawcross, Dawson, as well as Simon Francis all make the cut. Now, centre-back is kind of the disappointing area. I'm actually reconsidering playing Dyer as a centre-back instead, just for the lack of quality. Smalling is one of the best players in Shawcross, so they're our first first choice players, I suppose. I would have liked to have Jones, Keane and Stones and whatnot as backups, or possibly even first teamers. They're all kind of the same ability, but unfortunately Jones and Keane are injured, but they've also haven't played enough game time, and the same can be said about Jones. Craig Dawson and Simon Francis, the 2 best centre-backs in terms of form and game time compared to the rest of these centre-backs here who aren't playing as much. The likes of Gary Cahill, who's had international experience before. It would have been useful to have to call him up, but unfortunately Simon Francis and Craig Dawson are just performing too good for me to not select them basically. So defensive midfield and attacking midfield. Thankfully we do have Dyer, Ali, Henderson and Lallana, still our first choice midfield makeup. The likes of Wilshere, Sterling and Lingard all miss out on the midfield spots because of their lack of game time. Wilshere back in Arsenal hardly has had a sniff. Sterling and Lingard just carrying on from their last season, where they really haven't had any game time at all at their respective clubs. Noble's suspended, but we decided to call him anyways because he is one of the better midfielders that we have available. He's only suspended for 1 game, so possibly we could use him when we do play Malta just 2 days later, so we would need a fresh group of players. Carrick still gets a call-up as well. At the age of 36, he's still getting international call-ups. He was highly underrated, as everyone's talked about before, and so I'm making sure that I don't make that mistake. Also, it's not like he hasn't deserved it. He has been playing for his team in general and has been in good form. Danny Drinkwater also selected, and John Joe Shelvey as well, making a return to the international team after being promoted with Newcastle. He's played all 4 Premier League games and has an incredible 7.32 rating as well as 2 assists. So why not call him up? He deserves it. 6 caps his name. Hopefully we can add more to that. In terms of the striker department, again, still disappointing. I think the most disappointing departments have been the striker and centre-back departments because we've got great players. They're just not playing for their clubs. So Kane, Vardy and Berahino, as well as Wilson, are the English players who decided to call up the strikers. Sturridge misses out because of injury, but the likelihood he hasn't been playing for his club either. Deeney as well, unfortunate to miss out. I think we initially called him up, but Wilson gets the nod after Deeney had to miss out because of his injury, twisted ankle. Austin, Sterling, Redmond, Welbeck, Rodriguez, Rooney, Ibe, Gray, you know, even Rashford, Wickham, Defoe, all of these players just not playing enough. You know, if they are playing enough, they just don't have enough of a good form to be called up ahead of the likes of Wilson. Berahino, of course, one of the better strikers at least, and so is Vardy. But really, I was hoping to see a front two of Kane and Sturridge, just based on ability. But unfortunately, that hasn't happened. So in terms of the team that we selected today, it is in general our best starting 11. The only player to miss out is Joe Hart. He has actually been the best performing goalkeeper, but unfortunately, he's just completely out of fitness. Carrick, another player, is out of fitness, and Noble misses out on being on the bench because of his suspension, of course, as we mentioned before. So we'll start off against Lithuania. Hopefully we can right the wrongs of the previous game when we played at their stadium and lost 1-0. Hopefully we can step up this time and really just meet expectations, basically, of beating Lithuania at home at Wembley. Malta should be kind of a guaranteed result, but really in football, as you know, nothing's guaranteed. So we're 2 points ahead of Slovakia. If we win our 2 next games and they manage to not really pick up anything but a single point, that would be that would be a perfect scenario. Basically, we would have qualified with 2 games to spare, and you know, you can't really complain about anything like that, basically. But anyways, national anthems have been played. We're kicking off and Shaw's leading the charge, and immediately there's the highlight with a set piece. Can we score? Klein's got the ball, decides to take everyone on for some strange reason, but Kane's got it back and Dele finds Klein again, who has a chance to make amends, and he does, and Vardy makes no mistake. 1-0 to England, and that revenge team talk almost always works. So yeah, as you can see, Lithuania not being as defensive possibly as they were away when they were at their own home stadium, and they're playing with a very attacking sort of 4-2-3-1. Now Smolner's got an early yellow card. We want to warn him to relax a bit, because, well, not relax, just calm down. We can't afford to get another yellow. So yeah, attacking 4-2-3-1 compared to when we faced them at their own stadium. I think they were a lot more defensive in terms of formation, as well as their actual, you know, it would say defensive 4-2-3-1, for example, but they're actually just being attacking, and I'd only imagine that's because they're trying to give it their all to become second best placed team and qualify through that way. But Kane's going to make amends here, and after his recent international form, it's great to see him on the score sheet. Well deserved in England. 2-0. Can't ask for more. But in terms of stats, we've completely dominated them here, as you can see. 9 shots, 4 on target, 1 clear-cut chance, and Lithuania having the single shot that wasn't even on target. We've also edged possession, so that's great. And I can't imagine the second half going any better than it has for the first. As it says there, commentator, England a good value for their lead. Alright, now the issue is that they don't become complacent, but thankfully for us, Lithuania have gone into a defensive 4-1-4-1, and that should be pretty much it for the game, unless somehow that little tactical tweak helps them. But I can't imagine it. A 4-1-4-1 versus a 4-1-2-1-2 doesn't really, you know, exploit anything of ours, basically. So we should still kind of run away with this result. First half performance that wins the game, second half just trying to see it out. But we do have a set piece here. Henderson has a bit of a free header that's kind of too far out to actually score. I'm always surprised when the game says that those are clear-cut chances, because yeah, it's a free header in the box, but he's too far out to actually get any power on that, and the cross isn't exactly fizzling in or anything like that, so he has to create his own power, and that's unlikely. But anyways, we're going to take off some tired players. So likes of Dyer, Carrick's tired himself, but he's only going to play for 30 minutes, so why not? Henderson, take him off for Drinkwater. I'm sure Drinkwater can do the ball-winning midfielder role. He's kind of an all-rounder, isn't he? There you go, tackling. So he's got vision as well. I think he'll be alright there. And that's 2 of our 3 subs. So we just need to hold on. You know, 2-0 is, as they always say, a very dangerous result. Or scoreline rather, and that's just because of the complacency issues. So as long as we stay focused and they don't score a first goal rather, we should be fine. Of course, As you can see here, half my team's complacent, so that's great. Alright, a couple of tired players, but Kane's the best out of them all, so let's give him a deserved rest. I think we'll bring on Berahino and move Vardy into complete forward support role. Maybe we'll see Vardy have an improved performance. I mean, he's already scored, but you know, I want to see a little bit more than just a 7. That's kind of just about scraping into a good performance. I'm probably being greedy though. Anyways, let's just remind our players to stay concentrated. The last 15 to 10 minutes are very dangerous when it comes to complacency. So if you are leading a 2-0 scoreline and you're worried, definitely remind your players about complacency issues. Good ball into the box though, and again Drinkwater, that's counted as well, as you saw there, as a clear-cut chance, but again, I would never consider that a clear-cut chance. He's a bit closer to be fair, but still, no, I don't think so. I mean, let's look at their heading. Drinkwater's got heading of 8. Who's the other one that missed it? Henderson. Heading of 11. So 11's not bad. 11's decent enough to do something with it. So, you know, it's not like they're incredibly poor headers or headerers of the ball. But anyways, Malta will be next, and we'll skip ahead with the saving ourselves, and we'll be back in just a minute. But let's just see this game out. Referee, blow your whistle. There you go. And let's see how the other team has done. You know, they're still complacent, so I need to remind them. Alright, so Slovakia, I think they drew. We're 4 points ahead now. I think we're only 2, so I think they drew. So if they lose their next game, hopefully, I'm not sure who they're playing. I think it'll be Slovenia. But if they lose the next one, we qualify. So I'm really hoping that happens. We've got the best goal difference, of course, but yeah, let's see. Actually, let's check it out here. Yeah, Slovakia, Scotland drawing. Even Slovenia just about beating Malta, and that's our group. All right. So you know what? We'll just sim ahead from here. So we'll be back in 2 days' time against Malta, and we'll rearrange the team as well. And that way, you know, we'll have to kind of rotate our players a little bit, because 2 days' time is not enough time for rest. But hopefully the backup team will do a good job against Malta. We did start with a stronger team against Lithuania, so it kind of made sense. And hopefully the backup team can sort of do their damage against a not so strong Malta. But anyways, we'll be back in a moment's time. Just hold on. Alright, welcome back guys. We've got the game against Malta now. We are at their stadium this time, but hopefully the result matches the one that we had in our own stadium. Now in terms of the players who are tired, Klein is match fit, so Smalling, yeah, as you can see, Klein's still at Liverpool, right? And so Smalling and Shawcross and Shaw are definitely tired. So bring on Craig Dawson for his first international cap. Not too tough against Malta. Hopefully all this bashing won't actually blow up in our face. But anyways, Henderson fit. Ali and Lallana are obviously exhausted. And Drinkwater, Shelby. That's it. I think everyone else is okay. So we can bring on Noble back again. And think. Yeah. I doubt he'll get any game time, but you know, we could bring him off the bench. Let's see. But yeah, let's just kick off then. So obviously expectations are on England. And as I mentioned earlier, just in case you missed it, a win for us here and a defeat for Slovakia would pretty much hand us the qualification. That's all that we need. Our goal difference is too huge for them to make up for. And you know, 10 goals within 2 games is kind of hard to see. I think we should qualify if they don't manage to beat Slovenia. So it will be a tough game, and Slovenia is not going to give in because they're going to try and sneak into that top 2 spot. But really, I'm hoping to secure it. As you can see here, we can secure it. So I mean, it's mathematically possible is what I mean. But yeah. You know what? Let's actually bring up the latest scores. So we just need to keep an eye out on Slovenia and Slovakia. Oh, never mind. Hopefully that doesn't actually do anything in terms of view. Okay, so I'm just hoping, as you saw at the end of the first result against the team, my team, the national team, was actually very complacent. So I'm hoping that doesn't creep into today's game. I tried to give them a warning, but sometimes nothing really works. No warning works as good as, you know, a losing wake-up call kind of thing. But we are in the box here, so hopefully we can cause some damage. Instead, it's Malta on the counter, and suddenly we look a little bit short on numbers, but everyone's finally getting back here, and we just need to win the ball back, and that's exactly what we do. Kane, Henderson finds Vardy. Vardy all the way by himself. Decent shot. So it's been 16 minutes and 3 shots. You can say they're not completely complacent, but we need to see the scoreline change and not just the stats change. Shelvey on attack. Kane finds Vardy all the way. There you go. That's all I needed to see. How great is Vardy when you call him for the international team? Alright, so Slovenia and Slovakia is still 0-0. I'm not sure a draw would actually be of any use to us, but I mean, obviously it would be useful that teams are dropping points below us, but I don't think it would mean we'll qualify. It would mean we'd have to possibly just get a draw against Slovakia the next time. So I guess it helps still, but what we want to see is us win and Slovakia lose. And Shelvey going for an incredible long range shot there. Not sure what you thought what did you think he was a different player? Scotland beating Lithuania, that's the only other game in our group? I think so. Kane on the attack. Drink water. I thought that was 2. That was an easy slot. See, now, how can you tell me that's not a clear-cut chance? But heading from, you know, outside the 6-yard box near the penalty spot counts as a clear-cut chance just because you have got a free header. I mean, how does that possibly make any sense? But either way, half-time, and it's just a 1-0 lead, but I think we have to be happy with the performance. I think it's been complete domination. I think if we encourage them here, they're likely, especially away from home, I can't really be too demanding, but we've dominated it, so we can be happy with the results so far. But I'm hoping the second half will actually see more than just a 1-0 lead. We need to push on. Forget that they're Malta. We just need 2 goals to actually kind of cushion this result. And I'm sure Malta will come out in the second half, and as you can see, still the same formation, but they're not playing defensive anymore. They've pushed up a bit. So they're definitely still trying to nick a result, you know, make their nation proud. So it's not like they haven't got anything to play for just because they're the whipping boys of the group. No, they actually do have something to prove. And you know, what better way to prove something than to hold England to a draw at your own stadium. And there's a lot of players tired here. And so we'll take Dyer off for Carrick for some rest. Smalling as well has played well. Shawcross. And let's give Kane a bit of a rest. Alright, so Berahino and Vardy combination again. Hopefully that will result in more goals. But you know, we've got 2 pacey players, and we're going to be making use of Berahino's pace instead of Vardy's because he's playing on a complete forward support role. But both are very comfortable playing that role anyways. So really, that's the advantage, that we can switch him around. But yeah, Vardy just about edges that complete forward support role a little bit more, just because he's got that vision and the passing a little bit better than Berahino does. But there is a highlight here. Can we make it 2 before hopefully this doesn't get uncomfortable? That's a crazy tackle, Vardy. Oh, that was about 5 clear-cut chances in the box there. But anyways, Slovenia and Slovakia is still 0-0, and I think I'll just leave it as is for now. We can find out after the game. Drinkwater's tripped there, but for some reason it's not a foul by the ref. Or the ref doesn't call a foul, rather. Referee shouldn't be fouling players. That would be incredible. But yeah, considering that was the second of Malta's 2 shots and one of the 2 that were on target, I think it's safe to say we really dominated this game despite the 1-0 result. We should be having more goals, but I think my players, just like I mentioned before, were complacent. Now not so much, but I would have been happier to see a bit more, but can't complain too much. Alright, so they've drawn their game again. Actually, I think they lost. Oh no, they drew their game again. It was still 6 points ahead with 2 games left. I think we have qualified. I don't think we necessarily needed a loss from Slovakia. I think there you go, we're qualified for the World Cup. So if that's the case, which we should see the confirmation now, Then we won't come back for the next 2 games against Slovakia and Slovenia. That won't really make any sense. And I think you guys wouldn't really like seeing friendlies, so we'll actually come back for the World Cup itself. There should be pre-World Cup friendlies as well, just before the World Cup itself, but I don't think that's necessary to show you guys. It makes sense to finally skip forward if we have qualified and you know, show you the World Cup itself. It's finally going to be the World Cup. It's been about 4 or 5 episodes, so why not show you the World Cup in the next one? So it looks like we've won, but for some reason we haven't been, there's no real confirmation of us qualifying, so I'm a little bit worried. The next one is in, the next international break is in 30 days, and I think, let's try and see if anyone else has qualified. No one else has actually qualified just yet. Some tight groups here. We're actually doing quite well compared to others. Alright, so Spain are 6 points away as well, but their goal difference is much closer. Does the game actually think it's possible for Slovakia to score 11 goals in 2 games, even though they're playing us in one of them? Alright guys, so I'm sorry, I think it doesn't seem to be completely confirmed, so I think it would have mentioned in the team talk as well that we would have been, you know, we would have had the team talk option of saying well done on qualifying or whatever. So they haven't given those options, so I think the game mathematically hasn't completely shut down. Fair enough, you know, you never know in football. Slovakia could possibly get a goal difference of 11 more out of the blue. It's still mathematically possible, so we shouldn't shut them down completely. It would be unfair. And so we'll actually have to show you the next international break. But if it is, okay, we've got a friendly against Malta for some reason. My assistant manager's set up some weird friendlies, seriously. But either way, we will show you the next international break, the game against Slovakia. It's especially even more strange that we're playing 3 games in October. Now, why would he do that? In 3 days' time, we play, you know, huge games against Slovakia and Scotland. But anyways, if we get a result against Slovakia, any type of result, whether it's a draw or a win, we should qualify then. So we'll show you that definitely. That way you get to see us qualify. It'll be very exciting, and of course the time after that should definitely be the World Cup. As you can see, nothing arranged for 2018, and that's how it should be. But yeah, we'll be back for the next international break in October, so hang on for the next episode. If you did enjoy this episode, however, then please do hit the like button and subscribe for more daily Football Manager 2017 content. And as always, thank you guys for watching.